In our first segment, we talked about the most modern form of money. It's being sold to us as central bank digital currency. It is literally electronic money made up out of thin air that the government can control. And with it, they can control everything you buy, everything you sell. They can monitor you. They can limit where you transact. Ancient money, that's gold and silver. I know, there were shells, there were beads, there was paper money, but the longest used form of money throughout the history of the world has been gold and silver. It's from the Bible times, and before that to as recently as 50 years ago here in the United States. Now, I'm not in the gold business. I don't hold a big pile of gold that I'm hoping to sell, but I am a student of history and a student of economics, and I want to give you a brief timeline of money. And the reason is that we're looking for some solution to the central bank digital currency threat that we already discussed. To understand how to combat future money, we have to learn from the past. And gold has been used as money for thousands of years. In fact, Nathan Lewis recently wrote in Forbes, the use of gold and silver in a monetary role goes back before Plato. It goes back even before the invention of writing in Sumer around 3300 BC. Although shell rings and wheat served as early Sumerian currency from about 3500 BC, by 2700 BC, silver had become the primary monetary standard of Sumer, with gold alongside in a supporting role. In neighboring Egypt, the primary producer of gold in the ancient period was Egypt, and gold was the preferred high-quality value money. As early as 2700 BC, Egypt produced a standardized ring of money out of gold, stamped with an indication of weight. The history of money since that time is basically one long tale of gold and silver leading up to the classical gold standard of the pre-1914 era, and then the Bretton Woods gold standard beginning in 1944 and ending in 1971. This is true in the West, but it's also true in the East. Gold and silver coinage was the norm in India from the 6th century BC. Gold was the primary high-value money of the Han Dynasty, 202 BC, in China. The Bible talks about gold and silver as money in both the Old and New Testaments also. Remember, the beggar wanted money from apostles, Peter and John, as recorded in Acts chapter 3, and Peter answered the request, the demand for money by saying, "Silver and gold do I not have, but what I do have I'll give you in the name of Jesus Christ. Rise up and walk." Now, in the first chapter of the Old Testament book of Zephaniah, the prophet warns people not to count on their money by saying, "Neither their silver nor their gold will be able to save them on the day of the Lord's wrath." Basically, money can't buy you out of trouble with God. But the point I'm making is that silver and gold were money. I've covered gold quite a bit. Here, even in chapter 5 of my book, Game Plan. Let me read just a couple of passages. This is chapter 5. The gold rush starts on page 95. It says, "Nothing sparks a debate in financial circles like the subject of gold. John Maynard Keynes thought gold was a barbarous relic that makes no sense. Fed Chairman Bernanke, predictably enough, said that he doesn't think gold is money. And people think of that way only because of tradition. But Milton Friedman said gold could be money, of course, because money is what money does, meaning if it's used for currency, it is currency." Warren Buffett, he didn't like gold. He expressed skepticism. He said, "Gold gets dug out of the ground in Africa or someplace, then we melt it down, dig another hole, bury it again, and people pay people to stand around guarding it. It has no utility. Anyone watching from Mars would be scratching their head." Well, that might be true, but anyone in the world of the past 6,000 years of human history, they get it. They understand that gold can be money. And in fact, it is. Peter Schiff said gold is money, and money retains its value. Gold retains its value. Even former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan talked about a gold standard. He said, "In the absence of the gold standard, there's no way to protect savings from confiscation through inflation. Deficit spending is simply a scheme for confiscation." In 1263, gold would have traded at approximately $4.10 an ounce. It rose steadily in price to $20.40 an ounce in 1696. During the American Civil War, the price of gold jumped to $45.40 per ounce, but then it returned to its stable pre-war value of $20. It remained at that price until 1932. In other words, for hundreds of years, gold was relatively steady. Gold has been money.